A little while back, my wife came upon this artist called Gustave, an amazing artist who I'd seen before but never really gotten to know, and now that I know more about him, I am floored. And so I wanted to just do an interesting little video that shows this guy's rendition of Dante Alighieri's Dante's Inferno. And he did some amazing artworks with some nice captions, so I'm just going to speak the captions, show the artwork, and go to music. Otherwise, it'll be basically 13 minutes of me saying, oh my god, incredible, amazing. And maybe I'll put a couple of those in there, but I'll try to resist. So let's just see what happens. I think this will be cool to experience. So enjoy this visual journey into the great unknown beyond life, whatever it is. This will get you thinking. Here we go. In the midway of this our mortal life, I found me in a gloomy wood, astray. Scarce the ascent began when lo, a panther nimble, light, and covered with a speckled skin appeared. A lion came against me as it appeared, with his head held aloft and hunger mad. He, soon as he saw that I was weeping, answered, onward he moved, I close his steps pursued. Now was the day departing. I, who now bid thee on this errand forth, am Beatrice. All hope abandon, ye who enter here. And lo, toward us in a bark comes on an old man, hoary white with eld, crying, woe to you, wicked spirits! Even in like manner Adam's evil brood cast themselves one by one down from the shore. Only so far afflicted that we live desiring without hope. So I beheld united the bright school of him the monarch of sublimest song, that o'er the others like an eagle soars. There Minos stands. The stormy blast of hell with restless fury drives the spirits on. Barred, willingly I would address those two together coming, which seems so light before the wind. Love brought us to one death. Cain awaits the soul who spilt our life. In its leaves that day we read no more. I, through compassion fainting, seemed not far from death, and like a corse fell to the ground. Then my guide, his palms expanding on the ground, thence filled with earth, raised them, and cast it in his ravenous maw. Thy city heaped with envy to the brim, aye, that the measure overflows its bounds. Cursed wolf, thy fury inward on thyself, prey and consume thee. Not all the gold that is beneath the moon, or ever hath been, or these toil-worn souls, might purchase rest for one. Now seest thou, son, the souls of those whom anger overcame. Soon as both embarked, cutting the waves, goes on the ancient prow, more deeply than with others it is wont. My teacher sage, aware, thrusting him back, away, down there to the other dogs. I could not hear what terms he offered them, but they conferred not long. Mark thou each dire Erinus. To the gate he came, and with his wand touched it, whereat open without impediment it flew. He answer thus returned, the arch-heretics are here, accompanied by every sect, their followers. He, soon as there I stood at the tomb's foot, eyed me a space, then in a disdainful mood addressed me, Say, what ancestors were thine? From the profound abyss, behind the lid of a great monument, we stood retired. And there, at point of the disparted ridge lay stretched, the infamy of Crete, detested brood of the fane heifer. One cried from far, Say, to what pain ye come, condemned who down this steep have journeyed? We to those beasts that rapid strode along drew near. Here the brute harpies make their nest. And straight the trunk exclaimed, Why pluckest thou me? Haste now, the foremost cried, now haste thee, death. Unceasing was the play of wretched hands, now this, now that way glancing, to shake off the heat, still falling. Sir Brunette, and are ye here? Forthwith that image vile of fraud appeared. New terror I conceived at the steep plunge. Ah, how they made them bound at the first stripe. Why greedily thus bendest more on me than on these other filthy ones, thy ken? Thus is this, the harlot whose false lip answered her doting paramour that asked, Thankest me much. There stood I like the friar that doth shrive, a wretch for murder doomed. This said, they grappled him with more than 100 hooks. Is none of you outrageous? Or be none of you outrageous? In pursuit he therefore sped, exclaiming, Thou art caught. But the other proved a goshawk, able to rend well his foe, and in the boiling lake both fell. Scarcely had his feet reached the lowest of the bed beneath, when over us the steep they reached. Tuscan, who visitest the college of the morning hypocrites, disdain not to instruct us who thou art. That pierced spirit whom intent thou viewest was he who gave the Pharisees counsel that it were fitting for one man. Amid this dread exuberance of woe ran naked spirits winged with horrid fear. The other two looked on exclaiming, Ah, how dost thou change, Agnello? The guide who marked how I did gaze attentive thus began, Within these ardors are the spirits, each swathed in confining fire. Now mark how I do rip me. Lo, how is Mahomet mangled. Call thou to mind Piero of Medicina. By the hair it bore the severed member, lantern-wise, pendant in hand, which looked at us and said, But Virgil roused me. What yet gazest on? Wherefore doth fasten yet thy sight below, amongst the maimed and miserable shades? Then my sight was livelier to explore the depth, wherein the minister of the most mighty Lord, all-searching justice, dooms to punishment, the forgers noted on her dread record. The crust came drawn from underneath in flakes like scales, scraped from the bream of fish or broader mail. That sprite of air is Senichi, in like moon of random mischief, vents he still in spite. That is the ancient soul of wretched Murha. O senseless spirit, let thy horn for thee interpret, therewith vent thy rage, if rage or other passion wring thee. This proud one would of his strength against almighty Jove make trial. Yet in the abyss that Lucifer with Judas low engulfs, lightly he placed us. Look how thou walkest. I love that one. It's so good. All this art is so good. Then, seizing on his hinder scalp, I cried, Name thee, or not a hair shall tarry thee here. Not more furiously on Menalippus' temple's tidiest nod than on that skull and on its garbage be. Then, not to make them sadder, I kept down, my spirit is still in stillness. Hast no help for me, my father? Then, fasting got the mastery of grief. Lo, he exclaimed, lo, dis and lo, the place where thou hast need to arm thy heart with strength. Wow. By that hidden way my guide and I did enter, to return. Thence issuing we again beheld the stars.